Okay, so let's start with the day 3, wherein we are going to install the Spark on our machine or on the laptop that we are using. Okay, so to set up a virtual machine, there are two options for us. The option number one is don't do anything, just download the Cloudera Quick Start VM or Hortonworks Quick Start VM or any of the virtual machine that is provided by these people and which has everything installed in it, and just start using it. That is the option one. Just download the virtual machine that has everything installed, Hadoop and Spark, and start using it. And option number two is you install it yourself, right? You install all the things yourself by yourself. So what we are going to do over here is basically we are going to use some combination of both. So what I will do is what I have the virtual machine that I have set up, I will be sharing that with you. So you can use that VM directly. At the same time, I will also be walking through you how you can set up your own VM. The only reason that I am not setting the own VM over here is because it is going to take a lot of time, at least 10 to 12 hours, because it takes a lot of time to download the things. So I'm not going to set up my own VM. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you the virtual machine. You just directly use it. At the same time, I will also walk you through. So to do this, I had shared a link with you guys. So this is a link of Google Drive from where you can download it, right? So let me go to this link and you will see these three things over here. So first is the installation steps, the one that I am sharing over here with you, the same installation steps. The second document is the image of the Linux. The Linux image is of Ubuntu 2004, meaning 2020. 04 is April release, on which Hadoop and Spark is installed. And the third one is the Oracle virtual box that we want to install in our machine, right? So it has three documents. One is having all the steps. Second is the image of a Ubuntu, and the third one is the Oracle setup, Oracle VM setup. So what I have to do is I have to download these three things together. Okay, just download it and keep it with you. Okay, once you download it, this is a .exe file for the Oracle VM. It is a .exe file for Oracle virtual machine, right? So you just download it and double click it, and you just do next, 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 and it will do a installation like you do an installation of any software on a Windows machine. So it is a exe file for an installation. You can also download it from your Oracle VM download, right? So if you just Google Oracle VM download, so it will take you over here, and some pop-up is loading. I accept all cookies. Okay, so this is the place from where you can also download. So this is the version currently is 6.1.16 over here. What I have copied over here is bit old 6.1.12. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. You want to install from here, or you can download it from Oracle VM VirtualBox. Just Google it, and the first link only you will get for Oracle VM VirtualBox. And if you are using a Windows machine, just download the exe file and install. Mac OS, just download this image. For Linux, if your machine is a Linux machine, like my machine is a Windows machine, if your machine is a Linux machine, then you can also download a Debian package from here, or whatever Linux you are using. You can accordingly download and install this Oracle VM. but most of the cases you must be having a Windows machine, so just download this. And instead of downloading this, uh, you can also download over here and it will also work. So to install this Oracle VM, as I said, the steps are very much simple. The steps are just that: download and just double click on Oracle VirtualBox 6.exe file, and you have to do next, 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 and you are done. You don't have to bother much, right? Just you have to do all this next. So this is about installing the Oracle VM. Once you are done with the Oracle VM installation, click on start and search for Oracle. Okay, so Oracle VM VirtualBox. So these are the different Hadoop versions that I have. Next, what you need to do is, if you see over here in the steps document, it will say that you have to import the image of Ubuntu 20.04 that is pre-configured for Hadoop and Spark. So how do I do it? I mean, you have to go into this file and click on import appliance, then clicking on import appliance, then go on this one and just look for this and just double click on it, do a next. This is a RAM that is 523 MB that is allocated. I just increase it to 8 GB and do an import. Okay, so it will just start importing with the name Hadoop 02, right? Because I already have Hadoop and Hadoop 1. So the steps are very simple, just these two steps and you are done with your installation, right? So it's very simple. Let me cancel it off because it will take a lot of time. I already have it. So I'm just doing a cancel for it and I just do a cancel for it as well. Okay. So these are the steps to do the installation, option 1, and we are done. This is only two steps. One is install Oracle VM and second is install the Ubuntu 20.04. Okay. Then let me write another note over here. The note being, you should be having virtualization enabled on your machine. Okay, you should be having the virtualization enabled on your machine. So how to turn on this virtualization? It depends on a laptop model to model. Let me show you how to turn the virtualization on. So let's assume that, let me open YouTube and let's assume that I want to turn on the virtualization. Okay, so turn on virtualization. Let's say my laptop is a HP laptop. So how to turn on the virtualization for HP laptop? uh, all the laptops will have a different ways to turn it on from a BIOS. So let's say I am doing for a HP. So this is a video for a 3 years old, right? So I just open this. Similarly, all the laptops will have a different steps.
हाय गाइस, वेलकम टू यूट्यूब। तो इस वीडियो में मैं आपको बताने वाला हूँ कि किस तरह से हम अनेबल करेंगे वर्चुअलाइजेशन को हमारे सिस्टम के अंदर। सो गाइस, सबसे पहले हम ऑन करेंगे हमारा पीसी। तो अब जो ये है ऑन होगा और हमें की प्रेस करनी है F10।
So he is asking that you need to press F10 key at the time of boot up.
प्रेस कीजिए।
So if it is a HP laptop, it will be F10. If it is a Dell laptop, it may be probably delete. Some other laptop will have a escape key and so on.
तो इसके लिए F10 है बायोस में जाने के लिए।
For HP, it is F10 to turn on
आपका जो लैपटॉप है कोई और है
BIOS. Go into the BIOS.
उसके लिए हो सकता है कि कोई और की हो, जैसे एसूस के लिए F2 होती है। सो इस तरह से अलग अलग जो है सेटिंग होती है सबकी। सो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं कि बहुत सी ऑप्शन हमें शो हो रही है। सो ये सारी की सारी ऑप्शंस हमको यहाँ पे शो हो रही हैं इस वक्त बायोस में। सो अब हमें यहाँ पे जाके वर्चुअलाइजेशन को अनेबल करना है। सो उसके लिए हमें जाना होगा, ऑप्शन है हमारे पास एक सिक्योरिटी, और यहाँ पे चेक कीजिए कि ऑप्शन तो नहीं है, वर्चुअलाइजेशन की नहीं है। अब हमारे पास ये आ गई है हमारे पास ऑप्शन सिस्टम कॉन्फ़िगरेशन। तो सिस्टम कॉन्फ़िगरेशन में अभी हम हैं, और अब जो है ऑप्शन है नीचे वर्चुअलाइजेशन, जो कि डिसेबल है। तो अब इसमें एंटर कीजिए और इसे अनेबल कर दीजिए एंटर करके। सो अब हमने इसे अनेबल कर दिया, तो अब हम जब वर्चुअल बॉक्स को इंस्टॉल करेंगे तो वो अच्छे से चलेगा। और याद रखिए कि वर्चुअल बॉक्स को इंस्टॉल करना है तो आपको
turn on the virtualization on the HP laptop. Similarly, you can turn on virtualization on Dell laptop. So the steps will be pretty much the same.
Okay, here's a problem related to VirtualBox.
So if you
I
don't
can't
turn on,
start
then you will
this
have some
virtual machine because I
issue,
will
because
receive
it will
an
say that
error message
virtualization is not enabled.
related to virtualization.
So it says that.
Failed to open a session for the virtual machine, and here at details it says VTX is disabled.
So it says that
Okay,
virtualization
and
is disabled.
F2,
So
the
he's
keyboard.
just turning on and he want to press F2.
Now
It seems
press it.
Dell is having a F2 button.
And we are in BIOS, so this is their latitude E5. Then
search for the
apply.
virtualization over here
Click on the apply button
and just turn on the virtualization. Right. So this is how you can turn on virtualization. You can refer to any of the YouTube videos depending on what laptop model you are using, right? So I'm just writing a note over here that note you should have virtualization enabled on your machine. Just Google or just check on YouTube, turn on virtualization in HP laptop, HP, Dell, whatever Asus laptop, right? Whatever laptop you are using. So make sure that you are turning on the virtualization. If you don't turn on the virtualization, the import will work fine, but uh, it will give you an error when you're trying to turn it on, right? Okay, any questions until now for anyone?
No.
Okay, so what are the three steps we need to do? First step is to turn on the virtualization. To turn on the virtualization, you have to go into a BIOS. Is it the same for all the laptops or it's different for different laptop models? Will it be same for all models or it will be different?
Different.
It could be different.
And some of the old laptop may not even support a virtualization, right? So that's another thing, you cannot do anything about it. In that case, you have to upgrade your laptop. Um, the next thing is install the Oracle VM. You just have to Google install Oracle VM, or else you can also go over here, and from here you can download this particular version and just do next, 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 and done. Second thing was we want to import the Ubuntu 2004 image that I have provided, and it is available in this link. And you can just go over here and just click on file and click on import appliance, right? Instead of import appliance, you can also just double click on it as well, but that will also work, right? But how to do this? I will just say that click on file in Oracle VM and select import appliance option. Okay. Anyone doing with me now? Anyone is doing this installation as well along with me?
I downloaded it, but it importing it will take a long time. Looks like a 1 hour more, so I will just watch. I
Right.
already downloaded it.
Okay, perfect. So it will take a lot of time to import.
Yeah.
That's fine. So once you have imported, you can see it over here in the list, right? So this is the one that I had imported long back. So I just double click it. So you also just have to double click it. Either you do a double click or just click on it and click on the start. Now it is becoming show. Else it would have been a start. So just click on it and click on the start. So this is how it will start. Okay. Most probably you should not face any issue in the graphics or full screen or medium screen or something like that because I have already installed OpenVM tools. If you face, just try with this option. Okay, just try to play with this option. If you are facing any issue in, I mean, a resolution, if the resolution is not good, then you can try with this option, or else you can also install OpenVM tools, which we'll walk through. So this is pre-configured Hadoop and Spark installed. Just click on this user ID, user, and just enter the password as 123456. So the user ID and password is given to you over here. The password is 123456. So you are done with all the installation, and that's it, right? But it's always good that if we can walk through it, how it was done for this one, right? And later on, maybe you can practice yourself also. Instead of doing this shortcut, you can also try the longer way whenever you find a good amount of time. Maybe whenever you have 10, 12 hours, maybe on some weekend, you can also try the second option, how to do it using a option number two, meaning install everything by yourself. Uh, we will just walk through on how it was done. So I will just open it side by side. Okay. So this is the VM. This is how it will look for you.
And this VM already has a Python installed, or
Yes, Python is also installed. In fact, Python comes pre-installed with every Linux or most
okay,
of the Linux distribution. I have not
sure,
installed it. It comes pre-installed with most of the Linux.
okay.
Okay. So we are over here. We are done with this option number one of installing it. You can start working on Spark directly. But what we'll do today is we will just we'll just walk through on how it was done, right? So how it was done is it is having six different steps. The first step is very simple, right? Install the Oracle VM. So you have an option over here. You can install a Oracle VM or you can install a VMware. I think so. VMware is now a Dell company. So you can either install a Oracle VM or you can install a VMware. So we are using a Oracle VM. Oracle VM is completely free to use, even when you are using it for the professional use as well. VMware is requires license, but it is free for personal use, right? So VMware requires license, but it is free for personal use. So you can also use VMware if you want, but most of the places you will see that Oracle VM is used because Oracle VM is free to use even for the professional use. And once you have installed the Oracle VM, we already saw how to install a Oracle VM, right? Then the next step is you have to install the Linux. So to install a Linux, you can choose any of the Linux, it doesn't matter. Any of CentOS has gone recently. Just last month they stopped CentOS and came up with some CentOS stream or something. Red Hat, Ubuntu, right? So for our purpose, we have used Ubuntu 2004. You can use any of the Ubuntu version, doesn't matter. Or any of the Linux, in fact, doesn't matter. Once you install the Linux, then you have to install Java. Okay, once you are done with the Linux installation, you have to install Java. After Java, you have to install Hadoop and Hive. So you have to install Hadoop and Hive. You have to install Spark. You have to install Scala, which is a programming language. And then you also need to install a SBT, that is SBT stands for Scala Build Tool. So SBT is the one that actually will be required for showing the dependencies. That is what is the external jars I need and also do a packaging on it. Right? Not talk much about Scala and SBT. You can listen to the Scala course that is present on Udemy for more detail about Scala. But Scala is a programming language, and for now, SBT, whatever is required for this Spark training, SBT is a just like a Maven, right? A dependency manager and for packaging. So just like a Maven or any other dependency manager that you must have used for Java. So these are the 6 things that we need to do. Let us see all these 6 things step by step. So let us come over here and we are going to the option number 2. Okay. So option number 2. So in option number 2, you are going to set up your own VM. We are not going to do it now, but I am going to walk you through all the steps, and I recommend that you should or at least do one time so that you're stuck at one or two places and then you troubleshoot and come out so that you remember it for a long time. As well as it is also required because let's say we are installing a Spark 2.4.4 version. Later on, you also want to install a Spark 3.0 in the same machine. You can also do it. So if you want to do a new version, this will be really helpful. So it's good if you do it now. So the first step over here is download Ubuntu 2004 from the below URL and import it in a Oracle VM. Just like we imported the complete thing. Now we are just downloading only Ubuntu 2004 and we want to import in a Oracle VM. So to download the Ubuntu 2004, you can go to this website that is shared over here. Okay, so is the link updated? Get multipass. Multipass provides instant Ubuntu VMs. Use cloud in it. Option 2. Provision bare metal machines with Ubuntu server. And option 3. Okay, go for option 3, manual installation. These are the new options that have come for bare metal machines, and option 1 is for Ubuntu server VMs for VMs. Don't look into these two options. Go to the option 3 and you can download the Ubuntu server 20041 LTS version, right? So if you just click on it, it should start downloading. So it start downloading. I will just cancel it, right? So this is over here where you can download from the option number 3, right? Download the Ubuntu 2004 from the option number 3. So once you have downloaded this Ubuntu, next you need to do is you need to import in a Oracle VM. I have copied a reference YouTube video which will basically explain you how to import it. It is the same way, nothing different.
Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you how you can install Ubuntu 18.04 on VirtualBox.
It doesn't matter whether it is a 18.04 or 20.04 or whatever, right?
So those of you who use as my host operator, we can do it. Or if you are on Mac, VirtualBox will be ubuntu.com.
He is downloading the 1804 LTS from this website. We also saw from where we are downloading 2004, right? He is downloading 1804.
And you can see your download section, and then here we can see you.
So he is downloading Ubuntu 1804 and some minimum requirement is given.
Ubuntu 18.0, and you can see now the cost is $0. File is going to look.
Okay, so he has also downloaded the ISO file that was downloading from our case, but we cancelled it off. Then after that, let's see what he does.
VirtualBox, it's going to look like this, and in here we are going to create a new virtual machine. So just click on new here on the top,
clicking on new,
and just write the name of your machine. So we are installing Ubuntu, so I'm going to just type Ubuntu here, and I'm also going to just say Ubuntu 18.4. Here, whatever name you want to give, you can give it from here. The type is in lots of different operating systems.
So you have to select what you
and their versions. Next here,
so
these are the
you have to allocate the RAM that you want to allocate for it.
Memory here. So if you don't have the good,
now you have to specify the image that you have downloaded.
Click next memory file location it up and on size. Choose this virtual machine. So is by that is the system from here, but so you can increase it from here. So
speed of a processor
for now, play settings P, and I will machine. So I will choose. So I will. You can tap English start button, which is going to start the installation of Ubuntu. So I want to install. We have that down a little Ubuntu to your, and you can, and now you can see it's able to Windows 10.
Okay, so this is how you can install your own Ubuntu 2004 into your Oracle VM, right? So if you want to install a Ubuntu 2004 or any other Linux, you can download the 2004 from here, and you can refer to this video on how to set it up on a Oracle VM, right? Any questions until now? Okay, if no questions, then we go ahead. Again, for option number 2, there is no need for you to do anything. It's just that in future you do try once. Okay, once you have set up any of the Linux, what was the step number 2 or step number 3? What was the next step? What was the next step? Install what?
JDK.
So you want to install a JDK. Now again, to install a JDK, there are multiple ways in which you can install. The first way is very simple. You just run a single command sudo apt get install openjdk 8-jdk. Okay. So the first way is very simple. You don't have to bother anything. You just have to run this command, just a single command, and it will work absolutely fine. No issues. Even if you are doing it this way, no issues. You can also do it. You just run a single command sudo apt get install openjdk 8. But it gets more difficult if you are having a multiple Java versions. In this case, it becomes more difficult to handle. So don't go by this way. Instead of that, there is another way in which you can do is you can just download a zip file or tar.gz file, right? Just same as a Windows zip file. So the second way is, or the second option is, download a tar.gz file and you have to untar it. Untar is basically just unzip it, and once you have unzip it into a particular location, you have to set up a path in .bashrc file. So .bashrc file is basically a few commands that are present inside it that are executed at the time of a boot up. Okay, so basically you are going to set the path over here for that wherever JDK is installed. Okay, so we are not going to do the option number 1. We prefer the option number 2. We prefer option number 2, right? So for option number 2, you have to download this uh, this JDK, right? For option number 2, you have to download the JDK in zip. Let me see if I have it downloaded over here. So if I go over here and in downloads, it is not present in downloads. Any other place it is present? No, I cannot see. Okay, so you want to download it, you can just Google.
For option one also, we need to update the BSHFC file, isn't it?
No, for option 1 you don't have to
Oh,
update, because when you install it, it will automatically take care of setting the path.
all the path. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you can go to Google and in Google you can just say that download JDK 8, right, tar.gz. So it's more better. So download JDK 8 tar.gz. So it's giving 271 version. We have used the 261 version. It doesn't matter. So I just wrote download JDK tar.gz, and I accept all the cookies. And where is the download button? Okay, so I have to download it, a tar.gz version for my Ubuntu. Okay, so don't download this RPM. RPM is for Red Hat Packet Manager. The one that I see over here is this one, is the tar.gz. So Linux ARM, Linux x86. Okay, depending on what your processor. This ARM version should work for us. So just download this Linux ARM or x86. Don't download the ARM. Think so. X86 or x64. X86 is basically the older version of the Linux, older version of the PCs that were having a 32-bit processing. 64 is basically the newer version of it that is having 64-bit processing. So basically the data bus that is present inside your machine over here is 32-bit. If you are seeing this x86 architecture, and for x64 architecture, the data bus is of 64 bits. So of course the 64 bit is faster, right? Again, ARM is another version. I mean, it's not a Intel one. So you just download this Linux x64 compress archive, right? You have to download this Linux x64 compress archive. Again, if you are doing for a Red Hat one, if you are doing it for, let's say, instead of Ubuntu, you installed a Red Hat Linux, then you would have needed this one, Linux x64 RPM. But let's say we are doing this one, so we have to download this Linux x64 complex archive, and we have to download this one. Okay, so these are the few things that you will have to figure out. I mean, depending on what is the machine you are using. If your machine is an older machine, 32-bit, then you use the other one. Most likely, if you have purchased the machine recently, it will be this one. So you can just click over there and just download over here, right? So this is how you can download it from the Linux version x64. And let's see on the next thing. So this is how you will be downloading a tar file. Once you have downloaded that tar.gz file, just untar it. and you just have to untar it. After untarring it, you have to copy it into this location, user local Java. So untar is just like a unzipping any file. You just have to say that unzip. Then I have to go to this particular location, user local Java. If I want to go over here, let me make it big. Go to other locations, then doesn't allow me over here. Go to computer, then go into user, then go into local, then go into Java, and whatever you had untarred it, you just copy it over here. So this is the JDK, right? So whatever you untar it, just copy it over here, right? So whatever you download and untar it, just copy over here. So where did we copy? We copied at the location user local Java, user local Java, and this is the thing, right? Once you have downloaded, once you have done this, once you have set up this, the next step is to set up the path in bash rc file. So to open the bash rc file, you have to run this command gedit space dot bash rc. So you just open a command line and just say gedit space dot bash rc. Okay, so once you do this, you just do a gedit and you do a dot bash rc. Okay, so after in bash rc, you have to set up these things, right? Export java underscore home is equal to user local java jdk 1.8.0 underscore 261 and java home bin. So you can see that export java underscore home as user local java jdk 1.8.0. So for your case, if the version is different 261, if it is 271, then you will write it as a 271, right? But for me, I'm not changing. For me, it is a 261. And then you also need to export the path. So what you are doing over here is you are saying that whenever a Java home variable is accessed, it should be pointing to user local Java JDK 1.8.0 261, as well as we are saying that export this path into a path list. So anyone uses a Java command, this should be present in that particular path list, so that um, it is going to point into that. So whatever path we are setting, we are also putting it in a existing path. So we are amending over here. So over here we are just pointing to JDK. After here we are also amending with a slash bin, right? So it is a good practice that you follow the same thing. But had you been, I mean, if you want, you can also do this slash bin over here and remove the bin over here, right? But don't do this way because you really don't know how the things are used internally. So sometime it will work and sometime it will give you a problem, because sometime some other one is setting a path with a bin, someone is setting without a bin. So the take home over here is whenever you are setting a path in case of Linux, always set up over here the path that you want to set, and over here you set a path along with a slash bin, right? So once you are done with it, just click on save and just exit it. Okay, if you're not having an access, it is giving you an issue, just set it up. You can try with a sudo and give a password as 123456. If it is giving you an error while saving back, it says that you cannot save back, try with a sudo command, right? Try with a sudo command if it is giving you an error while saving. Once you are done with the setting up of the path, you also need to do few of the things over here. That is, you want to update some of the alternatives. So what you are saying that basically whenever someone refers to any of this, it should actually point to the whatever Java we have installed. Anyone is using for a Java compiler, it has to point to our things, right? So these are the three additional things. Okay, these are the three additional things. Apart from setting up the path, you also need to do this. And the reason why we are doing is so that anyone is referring to any of this should basically refer to the correct path. I mean, someone is referring to a user bin Java, or anyone someone is referring to Java, it should be pointing to a this place, right? So these were the steps about installing of Java. Any questions, anyone?
No.
Because if this is clear, then all the things that we are going to see in the next step will be clear. Because you want to install a Java, or you want to install a Scala, or you want to install a SBT or Spark or Hadoop or anything you want to install, the steps are always the same. So if this is clear, then everything will be clear. If this is not clear, then you will have the same question over there as well.
What is the what is the reason of using update alternative?
So that it can point to the same place. So whenever you some of the places, or let's say internally, uh, some let's say what is let's say someone is using a user bin Java. Let's say a Spark is using internally user bin Java. Then it won't find that thing over there. So in order to point it to the correct place, you have to set that okay, even if someone is using a user bin Java, uh, it should be referring to this alternative.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, anyone?
So it's kind of a symbolic link, right?
Right. Right. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. If no other questions, then let's just quickly revise only the Java part. And if it is clear, then from the next one, you can also start giving the answers if we are doing the same thing. Okay, so we said that there were two options. One was very straightforward, just do a sudo apt get install, and second one was so long one. So why we choose the long one?
Version management will be easier.
Right, so version management will be easier, as well as apart from the version management, I mean, if you want to just change sometime, or uh, multiple versions will be easier. You can easily delete it. Don't have to worry about conflicts and all. And moreover, sometime you may not have the liberty. I mean, some of the, let's say you are installing some other thing, not the Java, but some other thing, Scala SBT, and probably you don't have this option of sudo apt get install because it is simply not there in that particular registry. Then you have to know this way as well. Okay. Then what we did over here, first step was download a tar.gz, untar it, copy it to a particular path, set that part in a bash rc file, and update the alternatives, right? The same things we are going to do for the other installation as well. Let's go to the next step of installing the Hadoop. So for Hadoop, when we say, though in our case it will be a single node because we are doing on our PC, but over here there are multiple data nodes and name node, right? Do they need to talk with each other?
Yes.
Yes, right. So to talk with each other, they have to connect on SSH. So either option is, I mean, you cannot leave it insecure. You have to set up some password. So either option is you hardcode the password in every place, or second option is You set up a passwordless login using the keys. Okay, you set up a passwordless login using some keys. So to do that passwordless logging that is required so that different nodes can communicate with each other, we have to do a passwordless logging thing, right? So for passwordless logging, we have to install a open SSH server. We have to install a open SSH server for a passwordless login. Again, this is already installed, everything installed over here, no need to do. But so for that, what we need to do, first step is sudo apt get update. It's a normal Linux command. It basically updates and upgrades all the packages that are already installed over here. Even if you run, it takes a good amount of time. But if you want to run, the command is similar, simple sudo apt get update, and you just have to press enter on it. Once you are done with this, sudo apt get upgrade, right? So sudo apt get upgrade. So it is going to upgrade all the packages to the next versions if it is available. Then the next step is sudo apt get install open SSH server. So open SSH server is basically required for a passwordless logging. So you just have to copy this into this command line and just press enter, and it will install a open SSH server for you in this Linux machine. Once you're done with installation of open SSH server, the next thing is you have to generate a key. I'm not going to generate it over here, but what it does is it just generates a key into this location, and I can show this location over here, cd.ssh. Okay, so cd.ssh, then id underscore rsa. So id underscore rsa is over here, right? So it generated a pub file, id underscore rsa pub. So what you have done is you are generating some key in id underscore rsa. So it will make certain keys, and if you want to see the keys, you can do cat id underscore rsa, and this is a key that is generated over here, right? This is the key that is generated. Similarly, it says that just copy this key into this. So if I do a cat authorized keys, so you can also see that the keys is also set up. So basically this step is required so that there can be a passwordless connection between two different machines, right? In our case, it is the same machine only, but in same machine also, since there is a data node and name node, they are actually communicating using SSH. So in order for them to communicate between using an SSH, you need to set up these keys. And to just check whether it is working fine or not, just do a SSH localhost. Okay, so once you do a SSH localhost, meaning the same machine, it should be able to connect to it without asking any password or anything, right? So I just connected from the same machine into same machine, right? I just exit again out. So to just check whether it is working totally fine or not, you have to do a SSH localhost. Any questions over here, anyone?
Um, for the multiple machine environment, do we need to install the SSH every server?
Yes, you
Oh,
have to
sorry,
install in every server.
every server.
Yes, you have to install in every server.
And the steps we are following for a single server setup, that need to be replicated in the all server in the multi-server environment. Am I right?
Yes, if you are doing a setup by yourself, then yes.
Yeah, but
But
the
you,
one will be the node manager, other will be the cluster basically.
right, yes. But in companies, you don't have to worry because you take this distribution either from Cloudera or a Mapper or some other company.
Yeah,
So they will just install for you. And they also don't
yeah.
install like this. They have a UI and just they click on next, and it is done.
Okay, and these are basically the admin activity basically.
Yes, this is an admin activity. In fact, this is also an admin activity. Even if I don't walk
Okay.
you through, is also okay for the course point of
Yep.
view.
Yep.
is what's the repository link means when we upgrade to the like passing of the sudo apt get, so there would be a repository from where the packages are being download and getting installed, right?
Mhm.
So means what's it? It's already set up in some configuration in Ubuntu, or we need to update that
No,
because in Python, like
right. Mhm.
I usually means when I open so for Python in my personal, that works. But when I get in my company laptop, I need to pass the repository link because of a security reason.
Right.
So what's which configuration file where we need to put that repository link?
You don't have to put, it should be somewhere set up by default. How to add a apt repository in Ubuntu, if it is there. I haven't seen such things anytime before. The only
Okay.
things that I have seen in the company laptop is uh, if you do, if you want to do any installation, there are two places that you get stuck. First thing is you don't have authority, so you need a sudo access or something.
Yeah.
And the second thing that you get stuck is even if you do this, it says that unable to find, right? So in case of unable to find, there are two things again. Either you specify yourself where to find, or the second thing is you set up the proxy server. So
Okay.
because by default it tries to find somewhere, and your proxy server is supposed to get the IP address out of a DNS and supposed to give it. So you can try setting up a proxy server may also solve. And if you directly say that, okay, go over here, then it should also solve.
Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Okay, so let's see. We saw about SSH locals host, and this about setting up a local host, then going to installation of Hadoop. So it is again same as a Java. There is nothing different. Uh, let's just talk about it. So anyone say what we are doing over here? Download a tar.gz file, right? Okay. Again, one more question: why we selected this particular version only 2.8.5 and 2.4.4? Why actually we selected this version, where else we could have selected any other versions as well? So the answer is AWS EMR versions. If I go and see the AWS EMR versions, so let's see what are the versions that are available in Amazon provided Hadoop. It's like a Hadoop that is provided by Amazon. So these are the different versions that are available. The latest one is 5.31, and 5.31 is having what Hadoop? 5.31 is having a Hadoop as 2.10, right? What is a Spark installed in it? The Spark install is 2.4.6, right? So just take a combination of over here what, let's say your production is in on the AWS and you are making a development machine for yourself. So you will take the similar version in your VM that you are setting up. So I have selected a combination from AWS, assuming that AWS, what is a combination that is present over here, and take the same one. So if you see this document, we are installing 2.8.5 for Hadoop. Then Hive we are installing 2.3.6, and Spark we are installing 2.4.4, right? So if I go over here, 2.8.5 is over here. Spark that we were installing was 2.4.4. So basically we are taking one of this version, let's say 5.29 that was released in Jan 2020, right? But it doesn't really matter. You can install, you can follow the same steps and you can install any of the different versions. But just to say why I'm just selected 2.8.5, because that's one of the versions that is available over here and was one of the recent one. But you can also, let's say October this was released, you can also prefer to use 2.10, but mostly don't prefer the latest one because you will be the latest person to get the bugs as well. So they have come with Spark EMR 6x release, which is also having a Hadoop 3.2.1 installed. So the new Hadoop that came, Spark 3 installed over here and 3.0.1 installed over here. So released on September. This one is released just this month, December 2020. So again, on this machine only, if you want to just change it, the changing is very quick thing. Uh, you just have to download another version, set up a different path. But why we selected this? This is kind of a version of Spark that is most used anywhere. 2.4.4 at this present moment of time is the most used version of a Spark. So I've selected that. You can download and select any of the Spark version and Hadoop version, and maybe you want to play with it. Let's say you're working for a consulting firm that works for a three different clients, and three different clients are working on three different Hadoop versions, and probably you need to install all the three versions in your laptop and keep on playing with the configuration. But that will be again a rare thing unless you're working on really challenging rules. So let's say if you want to install this Hadoop 2.8.5, you have to download a tar.gz file. So to download a tar.gz file, we are using downloading from Apache website directly. So we go into a Linux, we go into Ubuntu, and we start a Mozilla, and we go into this path. Copy it and just download this tar.gz. So just download this tar.gz. Once you have downloaded, you can just double click and untar, or you can also write this command on that place as tar.xzy, and it's just like unzipping a zip file. Once you have unzipped, you have to copy into this part user local Hadoop, right? Again, it's not necessary that you have to copy into this path only Hadoop. You can set up whatever path you want. Just set up the correct version. So I have copied it into a user local Hadoop, and it's present as Hadoop 2.8.5. If you need more versions of Hadoop, just copy more versions of Hadoop over here. 3.0, 3.10, whatever, right? You can keep a multiple versions of Hadoop. Once you have copied over here, then you want to do a gedit.bashrc. Why we do a gedit.bashrc?
To
Why we
update
do?
the configuration export path.
Okay, setting the configuration part. So make sure that you are on the CD before it. You're on the root directory and you do a gedit.bashrc. Else it will say that .bashrc not found. So in bashrc, you have to set up a Hadoop home and set up a bin and sbin path over here and conf directory over here. So if I come over here, you can see over here Hadoop home, user local Hadoop, Hadoop 2.8.5, Hadoop home bin sbin, and the configuration directory that is present over here. So this is how you can set up the Hadoop as well. And once you are done with it, either you restart your machine, either you restart this Linux terminal by doing a power off, just like you do a restart a machine in a Linux, or else you can also do dot bash rc. Okay, dot bash rc. So that basically it executes a bash rc, right? Why it doesn't have a permission for me? So it is not having a permission. Let me change the permission. Chmod 755 dot bash rc and Okay, now it is executing, right? Can return only one function, that's fine. Uh, we can ignore this. Return can only return from a function or a source script, that's fine. Uh, so this is how you either you restart it, or if you don't want to restart, then just run this .bash rc so that it basically sets all the path, right? And once you are done with this, you have to do certain changes to the configuration files that are present over here. Okay, let me retrieve what are the files that we need to change. One in terminal. Then go into a bin. Let me try to get that list of the things that we need to do. So you have to set up. Let me come back on this later on. What are the changes that we need to do? Certain XML files that we need to change as well. Certain configuration files that we need to change over here. I need to retrieve it. What are the files that need to change? I have not noted this on over here, but I will get back on this by tomorrow. What are the conf files that we need to change? Once we are changed those files that we are required over here, you need to start dfs by start dfs.sh. So you have to start by start dfs.sh and start yarn.sh. So it basically starts resource manager and name node and the secondary name node, right? So these two commands should start successfully and you're done with the installation. Again, for this one, some of the changes that you need to do in the configuration file, let's see what are those changes. To do those changes, you have to go into Hadoop and basically go into Hadoop. Okay, so these are the default files. First thing that you will have to do changes in core site.xml. Okay, so in case of core site.xml, you have to set up the location where you have installed it. So you had installed it in the user local Hadoop 2.8.5 etc Hadoop and Hadoop temp. So this is the temporary directory wherein the Hadoop stores some of the data, right? So this path by default won't be set in your machine, or when you do a raw installation, this path will not be set up. So this is one of the things that you need to set up over here, that user local Hadoop 2.8.5 etc Hadoop and Hadoop temp. So let me just note it down over here. The first thing that we set up is inside USR local, then Hadoop 2.8.5, then etc, then again Hadoop, again core dash site dot xml. So this is one of the place that you want to set up the temporary directory. Second thing that you want to set up is in Hadoop env.sh. So in case of Hadoop env.sh, there should be some Java version that should be specified somewhere. Let's look for it. Okay, it's over here. So basically over here you want to specify where is your Java. So since in the previous step you had actually given in the previous step you had actually installed the Java, so you have to set up the same path as user local Java JDK, right? So the second thing that you want to change is over here core site.xml, then Hadoop dash env.sh, and over here specify Java underscore home. So it should, you have to set up the Java location over here. So this is the second change. Then the next one is mapred site.xml.template. So in this case also in mapred site, open with text editor, and then you have to specify yarn as a resource manager over here in a mapred site.xml. Mapred site.xml, specify the resource manager. Okay, so you have to specify the resource manager as yarn, which is a resource manager in case of your Hadoop cluster, and then you also have to specify in yarn env.sh. in yarn env.sh. I don't recall. Maybe once you install, you can just compare it. What has changed? There was some changes in this one as well. Okay. Okay. You can just. I think so. It's also. I mean, user or a directory or something, or maybe just the Java home. I think so. This is the Java home that was specified, or yarn env. I think so. Not yarn env. It was yarn site.xml. Okay, in yarn site.xml, you have to specify this thing, uh, shuffle handler. So you have to make some changes in yarn site.xml. Just say mapred site. Then also you have to do some changes in yarn site.xml. Okay, and yes, that's it. So basically, these are the four files that you will have to do certain changes. So what I will suggest is you can just import this as it is, and in parallel you can start another one and just compare and see what is the difference in all these four files. Whatever is the difference, you just set it up in those files as well. But basically, these are the four things that you need to specify in case of Hadoop installation. Any questions until now? Any questions, anyone?
No.
Okay, if no questions, then we go ahead. It's a very tedious task. Then second thing is to install a Hive. So it's up to you what database you want to use. It comes pre-shipped with a Derby database, and you can change it to MySQL. The limitation with the Derby is you cannot use in a multi-user kind of I mean, multiple user cannot query at the same time. So though it comes in pre-installed with, I mean, it directly comes with a Derby, but you still need to install a MySQL or something else. Most of the people use MySQL because multiple people can query at the same time, as well as it is free to use. So to install a MySQL on your Linux machine, just close this. To install a MySQL into a Linux machine, again you have to come into over here. Just run sudo apt get update, sudo apt get upgrade, sudo apt get install MySQL server, sudo MySQL secure installation. Then do this. And if you want to refer this, I have taken the steps from this website. So let me copy this link, copy, and let me paste over here. So how to install a MySQL on Ubuntu? So all the steps are given over here: sudo apt get update, sudo apt install MySQL server, and whatever, right? All the steps are given over here how to install it. And I've just taken all the steps. I've also written over here to install, and you can either copy all the steps. If you want to see in more detail, you can refer to this link uh, for installing a MySQL. Once you have installed a MySQL, then you can start the MySQL. And what is the password for it? Let me try with root. Wow. Let me see the password for it somewhere. What is the installed password? If I have it somewhere. Let me try ABCD. Not even this. Okay, I misplaced its password, whatever was set up. But you can follow these steps, and after that, inside this MySQL, basically you will need to have this database created. So you have to create a user first with a name as Hive user and give its password. Give all the privileges, flush the privileges, and create a database. I don't recall the password for MySQL, but let's try to recover it from as we see the setting of this Hive. The password should be set up somewhere. Again, we'll come back to this password in some time. For installation of Hive, again you have to download a tar.gz file from this location, untar it, copy it to this location user local Hive. Once you copy it over here, then in that case, after that you have to go over here and do a gedit.bashrc, and in .bashrc you have to set up the path for Hive because you copied in user local Hive, and you have to set up this path. You have to run this, right? And you have to change some database from Derby into MySQL. So you have to change the database from Derby into a MySQL, and for that you have to go into this place, bin schema tool, and you have to basically execute this command hive underscore home slash bins slash schema tool, and init schema and db type MySQL, because the default database type is Derby, and Derby is having limitation of single user can query at a given time. So after you set up, change it to, I mean, for changing it, you can just simply copy this line and paste it over here and execute. Then you have to do some changes in Hive site XML as well, just like we did it for Hadoop. So in that case, let's see what are the changes that we need to do in Hive site XML. And basically there we should be able to find the password as well. So you can go into user local Hive 2.3.6 should be inside conf, and there should be hive site.xml over here. Okay, so what are the changes that are done in hive site.xml? There should be some changes done for JDBC connection string. If I search JDBC, very big configuration file. Okay, so this is one thing that you need to change. By default, it should be pointing to a Derby, and it is basically changed to MySQL. It has changed to point to MySQL, as well as some of the files should have the password for the MySQL also, so that it is able to connect, right? So the user ID that was there was hive at the rate root. It is connecting using hive. How is it connecting? Somewhere it has to specify, right? So this is the connection password that is given over here, hive at the rate 123456. So this is also one of the things that you need to set. Again, when you're going to do this, again you keep this one open and just compare and see what are the things that are changed over here, right? So for here I will just say that you have to change into hive site XML, right? There are changes in user local hive slash hive 2.3.6 slash conf slash hive site.xml. So there will be multiple changes. I mean, what you can do is, for your case, just open this one that I have set up in this particular VM, and set up the one that is that you have set up in a new VM. Just copy both the text and just Google a text comparator, and just check what are the changes that are done, right? So there are multiple changes that were done, uh, like setting up a credential, changing the databases, and so on, right? So once you set up, then you have to start the metastore by this command, nohub hive service metastore. Nohub means it will continue to run. Okay. So this is how you set up a hive. Any questions over here till now? Any questions, anyone? Okay. Again, this is very tedious things. If you want to do, you can do, or you can just use this VM that is provided. It is anyhow an admin task, so not much to bother about it. Going to the next step, install Spark and Scala. Even for admins, they won't be setting up this way. They are working for Cloudera or Mapper or whatever. They will just do next, 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 and do the all this installation. There's a manual way of doing it, but once you do this manual way, you will come to know a lot about it. Again, to install a Scala, the steps are always the same. Download tar.gz file. I mean, you can just Google it. I want to download a Scala 2.11.12. And the reason for taking this 2.11.12 is because to match the version of the AWS version, right? Any of the AWS you can take and download that one. Untar it, copy it to user local Scala, gedit.bashrc, and add these things and execute this source.bashrc, right? Again, nothing much to say. It's same as installing any other thing. Installing is very straightforward. I mean, you have to copy the same thing, but if there is certain variables that you need to set, it is more tiresome. Then the next thing is to install Spark. So we are installing 2.4.4. Again, you download tar.gz for 2.4.4, untar it, copy it to this particular location, and set up the part in gedit.bashrc. And in bashrc, just copy these three things, execute the bashrc, and you are done. Once you are done, you can start the Spark by this thing. Again, you cannot just give a startall.sh as we were doing previously, because startall.sh will also be there in the Hadoop installation, right? So if you just do a startall.sh, then it will probably start all the things from the Hadoop that you don't really want to start everything, else the VM will become heavy. So for Spark, you have to just give startall.sh with a complete path. Even if you give a startall.sh, it will work, but it will bring something else up. And to see what are the processes running, you can do a JPS, which gives you a list of Java processes that are running. So it has all the things: name node, master, resource manager, data node, node manager, worker, secondary name node. Again, we are not going into details. You can listen to the Hadoop video on Udemy for that. Not even required from the Spark point of view going forward. So we are not discussing each and everything in detail, but everything is there in that Hadoop video on Udemy. So this is the processes that you are running. You can also see by ps-xw that gives all the processes that are running in Linux. So Firefox is also open, so it is also showing the Firefox. So whatever processes are running, you can see over here uh, by using a command as ps-xw. Just to see everything is okay, you can run this command hdfs dfs-ls. hdfs dfs meaning you're running a Hadoop command. ls is the same as Linux command to list everything in a given directory. So I'm saying that I want to list everything in a root directory, and saying that it's a Hadoop command. So there are few folders for me. For you, it may be blank as well. So no need to worry. If this command is running, then that means it is installed properly. The next thing you can do is you can start a Spark shell. So I do a Spark shell, and the Spark will come up. It will show the Spark version as 2.4.4 and Scala version as 2.11.12, because that is the thing that we have installed. So Spark has come. I will exit by Control C. So I just press Control C, it will come out. If you want to see everything, you can also try to run this command val a is equal to 5, val flights data loaded from this path, and so on. So just to ensure that everything is working, I'm not going into it. You can also see into Hive, and to start Hive, you can just click write Hive and press enter. And I just write show tables in a default database, and let's see. So there is an employee table, and I do select star from employee, and it will show you some data inside it. So that means Hive is also running, and since So there is some data inside it. Just forget what is the data. So that means the Spark and Hive is working fine. Okay. Any questions until now? So everything that we have installed is present over here. You can see over here as well. Any questions until now, anyone? Any questions?
No.
Okay. So if no questions, then let's just recap very quickly what we discussed. Uh, we have skipped installation of SBT. Let me just remove it over here. Again, if you want to install SBT, you can just do a sudo apt get install SBT as well. Sudo. You can also do a sudo apt get install SBT. We'll do it later on when we need it. It's basically to package and specify the dependency. So these are the different things that we did. So to start with, we said that there are two options. The first option is just uh, import the existing VM that is set up by someone. Either it is set up by Cloudera, Hortonworks, or someone. So in this case, you can just import the VM that I am sharing with you for our sessions. It's basically our development environment. The option number two is you do everything yourself. So option number two is very cumbersome process. It will take at least 10 to 12 hours. And there are multiple times that you are definitely going to get stuck in setting up the configuration files and XML files and figuring out actually what are the things that you need to change. So to get started, always do this option number one. But later on, as you find time in future, just invest this 10 to 12 hours in setting up by yourself. You can just keep this as a reference on the right hand side and set up one more on the left hand side of the screen and just try to compare and set up by yourself. So option 2 not needed, but it is recommended so that at least once you do, so that you know how things are done. So for option number 1, you can go into this link and basically download uh, the VMware, I mean the Oracle VM, as well as the VM, the Linux installation that I have shared. So you can go into this link and you can download the Oracle VM from here and you can import this into it. Okay. So the steps are very simple. Just install the Oracle VM and click on import appliance and just locate wherever is this and just do done. Right. So the steps are very simple and you're done with it within 2 minutes. Right. So if your intention is only to do set up an environment for your practice and learning and things, it is done in just 2 minutes of work and it will take some time for everything to happen. You don't have to worry and you are done with it. Nothing to worry, it's done, right? But it's always better you do option 2 as well, right? Okay. Then we said that before installing a Oracle VM and before importing it, what is the first thing you need to do? What is the first thing you need to do before installing the VM?
Virtualization setup.
Virtualization, right? Will it be same for all the laptop models or it will be different steps?
No, it will be different.
Different steps.
May same, but might be different. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the option will be here and there according to the Dell or HP or somewhere. Uh, okay. Then we said that in the option 2, uh, is it necessary I have to download this Ubuntu 20.04 or I can install in any Linux?
Any Linux.
Can I also do in Windows machine? The answer is
Means?
yes, but the steps will be very much different, right?
Yep.
But none of the servers actually are having installed in Windows machine unless it is just for some fun purpose or something, not in use. So every time it will be in Linux machine only. Most of the time it's in the CentOS machine, and it will be interesting to see now since CentOS is stopped. So install a Java. So for installing a Java, you can do it directly. Sudo apt-get install Java. But it's always good to do this way so that you can handle versions, and anyhow you have to do it for Spark and Hadoop. For Hadoop and Spark, you don't have the command as sudo apt-get install Spark. You have to do it manually. So first thing is what is the first step? Download tar file. Second step, untar it. Third step, copy it into this location. Fourth step, set the path in bash rc. Fifth step, execute the bash rc and set up the alternatives, right? Similarly for Hadoop, why do you need this open SSH server?
To communicate between the different nodes, like data nodes and the start nodes,
Data node and the
or
link node.
between the different clusters.
Right. Between the different clusters, or in our case, it is within the same machine also, but
Yeah.
it still uses the same code to communicate. So we have to do this. Then Hadoop, what is the first step? Download what?
tar.cz.
Second step,
Untar and then copy it.
untar it, copy it. Fourth step,
Bash.rc.
bash rc. Fifth step, in fourth step, just set the path. What is the fifth step? I mean, execute bash rc. What is the fifth step?
Config file updates
Config
for
files and
Hadoop.
XML files, right? So, I mean, it's very tiring process, and you can refer this VM as a comparison to set it up for your site, or else you can also Google that what are the places that you want to change. If you miss someone, then these commands will definitely create you some problem, right? So this will only not work. Again, to set up a Hive, what is the default database over here?
Dhabi.
What is the limitation with Derby?
Single user processing.
Yeah. So what is the alternative we are using? What is the
Means
alternative we are using?
MySQL.
MySQL, right? You can use any
MySQL
other
or
thing,
Oracle. Yeah.
but MySQL is free. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Then in a MySQL, you have to create a user by this name. Whatever user you create, you have to set up a password and uh, grant all privileges on. I mean, give all the privileges, flush the privilege, and create the database meta store DB so that all the metadata, that is what is the name of a file, what is the schema, all those metadata are stored over here. Then for installation of Hive, what is the first step?
Download tar.dz.
Second step,
Untar, then
copy, set up the path,
path, and then
and
bash.rc.
again do bash rc, and again do this some changes in the configuration, like change the default database as well as do lot of changes over here. There are a lot of changes over here. I also don't recall many things. So you can just open it and compare it and do all the changes and start Hive. Again, Spark and Scala installation, download tar.gz, untar, copy, set up the path, execute.bash rc. You're done for Scala. Then for Spark, download tar, uh, untar, everything. Same, no difference. Runs, start the Spark. If you want to do for SBT also, the steps will be same. Download tar, untar, copy, set the path, and everything you're done. Okay. And this all, you can see all the processes that are running by jps command or ps.xw, and you can try some hdfs command to make sure that it is running. The basic command is listing, that is the command is same as the Linux. All the commands are almost same as the Linux, just that in prefix you are going to write hdfs dfs ls prefix, and you are done. To start the Spark, the command is spark shell, and the Spark opens. And to start the Hive, the command is Hive, and Hive opens, and you can query and see some of the things. Any questions in this so far? Any questions?
No, but I'm trying to run the Hive show tables, and it is throwing error. Some semantic exception.
Are you writing show tables
Yeah,
semicolon?
tables. Yeah, and semicolon. Yeah.
Okay, and okay, before that, have you started all those things?
Yes. Let me try again. Let me see what is the GPS is running.
Mhm.
JPS is running name node, resource manager, secondary name node, JPS, Spark submit, node manager, and data node. So
Mhm.
these processes are running.
Okay.
So I've started, but
Okay, so
after that,
you have run all these
showtable,
things, whatever was there in this document, start.odt.
actually, I can't see the start.obt
Okay,
in the desktop.
okay, so let me just copy it over here, whatever is there in start.odt.
Okay.
It says that, let me copy this.
Start. That one I didn't start.
Yeah,
No hub, Hive one. No hub service meta store. Nope.
yeah, yes, yes, yes. You have to start that as well.
Okay,
Okay,
so it is.
you can start one by one. You can start this first, then this,
Yeah,
then this.
those two first. Yeah, first two started actually.
Okay, okay. Then you can start this also, then do high. Any other questions, anyone?
No. One thing, so basically, how difficult to start the PySpark as well?
It's the same. If the Python is installed, you have installed the this as well. Oh,
Yeah,
it
I'm
is
getting
not
the
set
same
up
error.
yet.
I'm getting the same error.
Okay, so it is not set up because we have not set up all the things inside this, right? So if you go into this Spark, right, uh, there should be some configuration files that must be required. So some of the configuration file you have to, basically it is trying to run a command called as a Python. So it is not getting Python command, okay, because it wants a Python 3 command to be executed. So basically, inside this, I mean we can just quickly see if we can find it. But some of the configuration file inside it, or else you can do is you can also say that whenever you are having Python, whenever you call as a Python, it should execute a Python 3, right? So you can create a dummy command in Linux, right? So how to create a dummy command in Linux? So is it Python Python 3? So let me see by Googling. So there are two ways. The one way is basically wherever the Spark is installed, you go at that place, go into computer, go into user, go into local, go into Spark 2.4, go into conf. In conf, open terminal. I just do cat star grep python. Where is it referring to? Python. I mean, basically, what it is doing is it is trying to start a Python, but it is not getting a Python command itself, right? So, Google, and I say that create a proxy command in Linux. So, Linux proxy, no, create a point Python to Python 3. Basically, so whenever you run a Python, it should how to make a Python program command execute a Python 3. So the Python program command executes 2, but how to change it to 3? So the simple way and the safe way is to place it on a bash RC. So it is saying that change in a bash RC as alias. So let's see if this quickly fixes. Cd sudo gedit dot bash rc, enter the password, come to the end and say that alias for Python is Python 3. Just save it and just execute it once, source bash rc. Okay, so if I start now Python, it should work. So Python is working now. Now if I do a PySpark, this should also work. It is still not working. Python, no such file or directory. User bin. Okay.
I think you need to load that PySpark libraries. It won't be automatically installed. Means like sudo apt install. You might need to do that thing.
PySpark libraries, but we have already done the Spark, right? If we have done the Spark,
Yes, Spark
like
already included the PySpark.
But if you go to that path like bin PySpark, they won't. This is not there.
no, let's see. I mean, when we do a Spark shell, you need a Scala and you need a Spark, right? If you are doing what you are doing as a Spark shell. So you installed Scala, you installed Spark, it is working. Similarly, Python is pre-installed. You are running Spark. It's just saying over here that over here it is just trying to refer Python and it is not able to find. So what I tried as an alternative is uh, since it is trying Python, I just put an alias and it should have worked ideally. But let's see another alternative. Let's see. Let's go into this place bin PySpark. So let's find this path and let's try to do this. Uh, where is it saying Spark 2.4.4 and what
Bin.
slash bin and in PySpark. Where is PySpark? MNOPQR. PySpark. Is it a PySpark or PySpark 2?
PySpark.
PySpark. Okay, so PySpark. Okay, let's open this PySpark and there is also PySpark 2. So PySpark is saying that command PySpark 2. Okay, so there is nothing much inside it. Let's see what's there in PySpark. So what it is doing, can we find Python over here somewhere? So it is so many Pythons. Let us try to set this as Python 3 and save it and let's try it. If it works, it still doesn't work. So it's going to bin and PySpark. Oh, it's so I changed it at the wrong place. I should have not done over here. Let me uh, remove it because it's saying only in the PySpark, right? So this is a PySpark as well. So open in a text pad and it is trying to refer Python somewhere. So many places Python is there. Okay, so this is one thing I see Python, probably this one. I change it to this one, PySpark Python is equal to Python 3. This is all All this configuration is one time, but one time it's very tiring. So let's try this if it works. Oh, lucky, it works. So uh,
You need to change all the places where it's called as Python because
yes, I mean it just moved ahead. So
yeah, because once if clause it worked, but below that it won't work. It's still pointing to the Python.
where it is pointing to Python?
Means under that
Oh, over here
configuration.
is it? This one you are saying is it?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. That's just a folder path. It's just a folder. It's just a folder name, so it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a folder name inside a Spark, right? So that doesn't matter. I think so. If it is working till here, then it should not be an issue. Unless, I mean, the Python should not be an issue anymore. Starting. But anyhow, that is not our objective as well to do in a Python. So yeah, I mean, there may be more configurations as well that you can figure it out as you get each and every error. For now, by changing this at least, you are able to start the PySpark with the Python 3. And I think so, even if you don't do this, there should be another way. Export the Python version, right? So over here, PySpark Python, right? So let's say this is a Python only, right? So I mean, I make it Python again, and I just give a try that. I mean, now let's say now if I do, it should fail. Now if I do, it should fail. Now if I do a PySpark, it should fail because uh, I again removed Python, right? Now let's say I try this export PySpark version, export Python underscore PySpark underscore Python underscore version equal to 3. I don't exactly know what is a okay. One of the ways just change over here that we did. There is another way by changing some export variable that you can just Google off that Google and change Python version for PySpark export command. So there should be some export, right? So it says that PySpark underscore Python. Is it how to specify the Python version to use PySpark? So if I go how to specify Python version to PySpark, so you can see that it's the same thing PySpark as Python. So what is the solution he has given? Not good post. I mean, Stack Overflow is more better. So it also says about the same thing. These are the two places where you have to change PySpark driver and these two things you have to change. Spark env.sh, add these two lines, and yes, you can just try it. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, so it's more tedious. Just do by option number one and get started so that from tomorrow onwards, I mean, just try to do it today or tomorrow before the session so that tomorrow you can practice with me whatever we are doing. And if you are having an issue, let me know so that we can connect an hour earlier and just fix the issue for you. Okay, then, if nothing, then we end the session. Thank